such a rock. You know how we love to go on vacation.
Yes, I love it.
But I tell you what, imagine working on one of these cruise ships. They're huge, they're large, and you work with, your fellow coworkers. Then all of a sudden, one of your coworkers is suddenly missing.
You mean like vanished?
Just completely vanished at sea.
Oh, no, that's not good.
And that's what we're going to talk about next. Check this out right after this.
Welcome back, Agent Wells. How was your cruise?
Great! I bought this hat.
Well, today we are going to talk about a cruise that didn't go that well and ended in tragedy.
I'm ready to start this case.
I'm ready.
I got something for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those little skits are pretty cute. Anyhow, so before we get into Vanished at Sea today, we'll introduce ourselves. We'll start there.
It's your girl, Shuak.
And I'm Ed, and thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And before we get into today's case, we want to remind you,
this is for education and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research and always be kind to everyone.
And everywhere. And we appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching the show.
Yes.
And today we're going to talk about Vanished at Sea. And I got sneeze. Excuse me. It is algae season here in where we live in Connecticut. By the time you're watching this, it's probably nice and sunny. But anyhow, it is seasonal allergies. But that was a little side thing. So we're going to talk about Rebecca. You say her last name better than I do.
Coriam. Rebecca Coriam has vanished.
And so we're going to get into her story. So today, as usual, if you're familiar with us or if you're not, we have an AI crime investigation team. They help us put together the information, and they're going to go through the background with us. So go for it, Crime Force. Let's hear the story.
Rebecca Coriam was a 24-year-old British woman from Chester, England, who worked as a youth counselor and childminder aboard the Disney Wonder cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
She was hired by Disney Cruise Line in June 2010 after a successful interview in London, beating out hundreds of other applicants.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Rebecca Coriam received 4 months of training at Disney facilities in Florida. It was likely a comprehensive program designed to prepare her for her role as a youth activities counselor on Disney Cruise Line ships. While the exact details of her specific training are not provided in the search results, we can infer based on general information about Disney Cruise Line training. The training likely included an introduction to Disney's company culture, values, and standards of guest service. She would have received in-depth onboarding to help her connect with the Walt Disney Company and feel comfortable in her position.
Yeah, I would
Safety
think so.
training was almost certainly a significant component, as all crew members receive extensive training in fire prevention and safety, regardless of their role. Rebecca likely received specific training related to her role as a youth activities counselor,
awesome.
including how to interact with and supervise children ages 13 to 17 years old in youth activities spaces. The training may have included familiarization with Disney-themed entertainment, storytelling, and the various activities offered in the youth clubs on board the ships. It's possible that part of her training took place at Disney World Park in Florida, as mentioned for other new hires.
Nice.
This training period was designed to prepare Rebecca and other new crew members for their roles on Disney Cruise Line ships, ensuring they could provide a safe and entertaining environment for guests while maintaining Disney's high standards of service.
Great background. And my notes here is Agent Owens was talking about over and over the stressfulness of the safety and how much safety training they're going, so keep that in mind.
Right, and this was not just like a week or two, like when you go for a job interview, they usually give you about a week or two of training. This was over 3 to 4 months of training.
Yeah, and I would think too, you get to know familiar ship and be careful of certain parts of the ship that, they need extra caution. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, the vanishing part, see what's going on, like what happened. So let's hit that up next.
Great introduction, Agent Owens. Rebecca Coriam worked as a youth activities counselor on Disney Cruise Line ships for 4 months on cruises to and from the Bahamas. This period occurred after she completed her initial training at Disney facilities in Florida. Rebecca Corium heard about her grandfather's illness and returned to Britain. It coincided with the death of her grandfather. This event was particularly impactful for Rebecca and her family, as it marked the last time they saw her in person before her disappearance. After spending these 2 months in Britain, Rebecca went back to work on the Disney Wonder, which was then based out of Los Angeles, then set sail for a Mexican cruise on March 21st, 2011. Things have taken a dark turn. Rebecca Corium went missing on March 22nd, 2011. On that day, she was working as a crew member aboard the Disney Wonder cruise ship, which was at port off the Pacific coast of Mexico. Earlier that morning, CCTV footage captured her in the crew lounge at approximately 5:45 a.m., where she was seen having a phone conversation that appeared to cause her emotional distress. After this sighting, she missed her scheduled shift and could not be located anywhere on the ship, leading to an extensive search by both crew members and external authorities.
Like no
The
one saw her.
timeline of
It's
events
crazy.
surrounding her disappearance indicates that after sending a final message to her parents via Facebook on March 21st, 2011, stating she would call them the next day, she was last seen early in the morning of March 22nd. The investigation into her disappearance has been ongoing since then, with no confirmed sightings or information about her whereabouts following that date.
This doesn't look like a happy ending, Agent Wells. Let's
not.
take a closer look at this case. The distance from Los Angeles to Mexico depends on various ports in Mexico, can vary depending on the specific destination. However, when considering a common route taken by cruise ships, such as to Puerto Vallarta or Cabo San Lucas, the approximate distance by sea is around 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers. This distance can fluctuate based on the exact path taken by the ship and any navigational adjustments made during the journey. Rebecca Corium went missing off the coast of Mexico, specifically while the Disney Wonder cruise ship was en route to Cabo San Lucas. On March 22, 2011, the ship was in international waters near Puerto Vallarta when she disappeared. This incident occurred while the ship was docked and preparing for its journey along the Mexican Riviera. The timeline indicates that Corium was last seen at approximately 5:45 a.m. on the day of her disappearance, during which she was captured on CCTV in a crew area of the ship.
And she didn't
The ship had departed from Los Angeles and was bound for various ports along the Mexican coastline, including Puerto Vallarta and Cabo San Lucas. The police investigation into Rebecca Corium's disappearance from the Disney Wonder cruise ship in 2011 yielded limited information, and much of it remains undisclosed. A detective from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Paul Rawl, conducted the initial investigation, starting 3 days after Rebecca went missing. The investigation concluded that Rebecca's disappearance was not suspicious and that she likely fell overboard, possibly due to a rogue wave. CCTV footage showed Rebecca talking on an internal phone at 5:45 a.m. on March 22, 2011, appearing upset. The police report was shared with UK authorities but not with Rebecca's family.
Which is interesting.
Chris Matheson, MP for Chester, claims to have a copy of the original police report with compelling evidence suggesting Rebecca may have been the victim of a crime.
Ooh.
The investigation has been criticized as inadequate, with only one Bahamian police officer assigned to the case. Despite promises, the full results of the investigation were never made available to the Corium family. The lack of transparency and limited scope of the investigation has led to ongoing questions and criticism about the handling of Rebecca Corium's disappearance.
Yeah, there's a few things interesting there. One is that it was mentioned she kind of went missing, it sounds like, possibly during a time where they were at port.
Right.
So, because usually you think, oh, she just jumped overboard, drowned herself, and killed herself. Maybe she had a really bad phone call. But then it may, because she's at port, maybe she left the ship because she was in, remember, this is Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gangs and stuff. So Oh man, this is interesting. This can be so much.
And I think when we go further, we're going to see a little bit like she was not on board and she did leave the ship, which is interesting too.
So you think Crime Force's got this? Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see what they got.
Several pieces of evidence suggest Rebecca Corium may have been murdered rather than accidentally falling overboard. CCTV footage discrepancies. The video of Rebecca's last known sighting was cropped to hide the timestamp and location.
That's weird.
It was actually shot on Deck 1, not Deck 5 where she allegedly went overboard. Suspicious clothing. In the CCTV footage, Rebecca was wearing oversized clothes that may have belonged to someone else, raising questions about her state at the time. Ripped shorts. Investigators found a pair of ripped shorts among Rebecca's belongings, potentially indicating a struggle or SA before her disappearance. Credit card activity. Rebecca's credit card was reportedly used 2 months after her disappearance. Inadequate investigation. Only one detective spent a single day investigating, interviewing just a few crew members and no passengers. Withheld evidence. Disney allegedly has more CCTV footage and a recording of Rebecca's phone call, which have not been released.
What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is that?
A sandal claimed to be Rebecca's was found to belong to another crew member, casting doubt on Disney's account of events. Expert opinions. Chris Matheson, MP for Chester, claims to have a copy of the original police report with compelling evidence suggesting Rebecca may have been the victim of a crime. These factors have led some investigators and Rebecca's family to believe that her disappearance may have involved foul play rather than an accident.
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Thanks, Agent Wells. Rebecca Corium's parents are not happy. This is crazy. Their beautiful young daughter is no longer with us. Mike and Ann Corium were deeply dissatisfied with the investigation into their daughter's disappearance and felt that Disney Cruise Line was not fully cooperative. They were critical of Disney's handling of the investigation, believing the company knew more than it claimed. The Coriums felt that Disney was more interested in avoiding unfavorable publicity than cooperating with investigators.
Bad stuff lately.
They were frustrated by the lack response to Rebecca's disappearance and the limited scope of the investigation, with only 9 crew members interviewed and no passengers.
Wow.
Rebecca's parents felt they were purposefully kept in the dark and away from passengers and the public during their visit to the ship. They expressed regret for not being more inquisitive during their brief time on the ship, as they were stunned by the situation and given short answers to their questions. Rebecca Corium's parent rejected the theory that Rebecca did something to herself and she wasn't happy with her life. They believed their daughter may have been the victim of a crime, possibly involving injury or attack. Rebecca's parents settled a lawsuit against Disney out of court in 2016, indicating their ongoing dissatisfaction with the company's handling of the case.
Agreed.
The discovery of Hawaiian flip-flops did not directly influence the investigation into Rebecca Corium's disappearance.
Wow. Crime Force did a great job there. Excellent, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time on the flip side. So let's do the quick breakdown. I will go to the beautiful woman sitting next to me for the first reaction feedback. And then
so there's definitely a lot of holes in this case, and I guess they didn't, and which is weird, they did not want the parents to know all of the information. Of course not. This is a business like any other business, right? You know, it's going to get bad feedback. Who wants to go on this cruise? And this is like Disney. So, you know, they just basically wanted to settle out of courts because of the publicity. Nobody wants the bad publicity when it comes to the business. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head in terms of how they handled it. And going to, she committed, jumped off the boat and unalived herself. I doubt it. I mean, the credit card thing could be a couple things. One, it could be the cartel or something bad happened to her. They stole it. Or, I mean, also, too, on the flip side, she could have went off the boat, something happened, and maybe the coworkers or somebody found the credit cards and said, hey, well, she's not around, I can use these.
That's true.
Who knows? There's different possibilities. But to me, let's face it, Mexico has a lot of crime, and, we don't know what she was involved with. There could be many different things, but it doesn't seem like an unaliving of herself. It seems more like a crime, some kind of foul play, let's just say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
What do you guys think? We'd like to know. We'll keep our comments open so you guys can check it out. Just please be good with the comments. We don't mind constructive criticism. We're aware that all content creators go through this. We just want to be very respectful. That's all.
And just make sure it's relatable to what we are talking about.
Exactly. And come check us out. Specifically, we're the only YouTube show that uses an AI crime force investigation team to put together this information. So please come back. Subscribe. That would mean a lot to us. If you subscribe. Obviously, the biggest thing is just joining us, and as we kind of launch into these true crime cases and learning more about them, that's the most important thing. But of course, if you can like and subscribe, we would love it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Any last words other than the final catchphrase? I'm asking for any final comments.
Right. So definitely, I know that this is a cold case, what they call it, right? They still have not found Rebecca. Rebecca still could be alive somewhere, like, who knows, captured somewhere.
Trafficked.
So, yeah, it can be sad, but definitely it's not a good ending because, she's definitely not with her parents where she should be. And It's just a tragic, So besides that, just thank you for watching.
Come back next week. We'll have another one. Thank you so much for watching.
Studio 70.
We're out of here, guys. Later.